Hey, it's Shannon with Shanley Strategy. I am a digital marketing and coach, digital marketing and social media coach who helps you go from chaos to calm with your digital marketing strategies if you have to bootstrap them. And it's Friday, and it's time to go live with some of my favorite people to talk about shedding more light on how the Instagram algorithm works. So, we are going to talk about notes. Always have notes, guys, when you go live. We're going to talk about what it shows, the Explore tab, what the algorithm actually is, all those fun things that we like to talk about and dispel myths on. Being my favorite social media peeps on. Jordan's joining us. Tiana Winters is joining us. Katie Malone is joining us. And we're going to talk about this.
She has the receipts.
I have notes. I had my group coaching Simply Social and Digital yesterday, and we talked about this in both sessions. And then I had my Instagram class last night, and we kind of talked about it, but I think this was a little over their heads. So because they're just getting started with Instagram. So
Sure.
We are going to talk about what IG checks and shows us in the Explore tab. We're going to talk about what the algorithm is. There's not just one, guys. There's lots of them. We're going to talk about shadow banning, and then the truth about how many people actually see your stuff. So I just want to say that when one of you alerted me, I think it was Katie, to this article, and I was like, I don't want to talk about that. And then I was like, wait a minute. So I want to acknowledge that you made me go read this, because a lot of this I felt I already knew, or in my gut knew, but we see tons of misinformation around Instagram everywhere. So who do you trust? So the only person you really can trust is Instagram. So let's dive into what is the algorithm. Who wants to talk about that?
Well, should we introduce ourselves first?
Well,
and then I'm happy to talk about it.
Yes, Jordan, Katie, Tiana, thank you. I didn't even have the introduction on my list.
You were so ready to talk about the algorithm. I totally get it. Hi, everyone. I'm Jordan from West Loop Soul. I help small business owners find the soul of their brand and bring it to life through content marketing. So their social, their email, their blog, all that fun stuff, I help with it. Katie, over to you.
I can't. So I see the direction a little bit.
Yeah,
differently. Anyway,
just
go,
Katie.
Just tell me when to speak. No, I'm Katie Malone. I'm a social media strategist and business coach for mom entrepreneurs, really helping the mamas find ways to use social successfully to help grow their business, but also not spend all day pulling out their hair trying to figure out all of these things and doing things that they don't need to do. So I'll pass the mic.
Hi, I'm Tiana Winters Media. I wasn't very original with my agency name, but I really like my name, so it worked. But helps biz and female entrepreneurs basically learn how to grow their business, work on their personal brand, and make social media work for you instead of you have to work so hard with it.
So yes, thank you guys for reminding me. I need to remind everybody who you are. It wasn't, I always preach have an outline. Tiana knows this. Have an outline, and apparently I should have put intro to introduce everybody. So the one thing that stuck out is one of the main misconceptions we want to clear up is the existence of the algorithm. And Instagram doesn't have one that oversees what people do and don't see. They have many. Mm-hmm. Is this shocking to any of you?
No, it's not shocking at all. What I would say about the algorithm, it gets this reputation as like this dirty word where, oh my gosh, the algorithm is out to get you. The algorithm is designed to help you. The overall goal of Instagram is for you to spend more time on the app. It's how Instagram makes money. They make money from ads. And if you are not using the platform, they have nobody to push ads to, and they have no way to make money. So Instagram is designed to be better for you so that you spend more time here. So this algorithm that everyone's, afraid of and doesn't know what to do, tries to like make up how it works. It's really just a set of things behind the scenes that learn about you so it can help you spend more time on the app. It's learning what you engage with, what people like you engage with, who you enjoy following, what keeps you on the app longer so that it can serve you content that you enjoy so you can spend more time. So if you are a business owner or a blogger or just someone who loves social media and you are content that your audience spend more time on, is going to like, is going to share, save, whatever that interaction is, Instagram's going to push that content to you. So this algorithm that people claim is out to get you is actually there to help you, and it's to help the people that you are trying to get in front of see your content. So it's really a great thing, or I guess things, because there's multiple that go into it, but it's really designed to help you, not hurt you.
I think we have to remember too that, again, guys, this app isn't ours. It's not our business. Instagram is its own business. So they do want you to stay on their feed. The longer that you are on the feed, the more business they're getting from you. So that's why they're pushing content and trying to guess what kind of content you're going to interact with the most, whether you're going to be clicking on somebody's profile picture, looking at their stories, looking at their reels. Are you saving audio from that reel? Because they're pushing content. It's like Big Brother, okay? It's like, but sometimes the app is smarter than us, because they're definitely sending me stuff that I'm like, oh, let me follow this person now. They know what they're doing, but they are a business. And I think we all have to remember that, is that Instagram is its own business as well. And they want you to be on the app, which is why they do this.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it says, we want to make the most of your time, AKA I think Tiana and I said yesterday when we were talking about this, their goal is just to keep you on the app, as Jordan kind of said. So it's kind of like, make the most of your time. No, you really just want us to be on here. And that's why, I don't know if you guys realize this, I looked these stats up this morning, the time on Instagram has doubled in the last year. So people were spending about a half hour. It's almost an hour now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wonder
I
if it's
wish I
because
only spent an hour.
You don't spend an hour on Instagram? Or I spend hours.
I said I wish I only spent an hour.
Yeah.
I think our usage is different. We can't really split that between like consumption and then like work time. But
yeah, I spend app. I have to like set alarms because I have no self-control. I get stuck to those reels, man.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Katie, any thoughts?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, just like you read that post where they're saying they want to give you the best experience. I know we're all reluctant of anything that's serving us ads, and we know that they want to keep us on the platform. But I think from both a user standpoint and a marketer standpoint, like, isn't that awesome that they're developing all of these they're looking at signals and processes so that, one, as a user, when you're they were talking about how the Explore tab and Reels is where you're going to be seeing a majority of things from people you don't already follow. So they could just throw you out there into the wild and you're getting just a ton of stuff where you're like, I'm not into monster trucks and, Thai food, whatever. But they're watching all of these other signals, and they're smart enough to know that because we interacted with this platform or this person's content and we liked this, that we would like something similar. Like, how cool is that? As just to have a better experience, but then also knowing that when you're putting your content out there, it's the content itself, but then also the way people are interacting with similar things that it's going to serve you up to. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a pretty cool thing for them to share. I mean, we kind of know how this works, but to think about it that way, like, I mean, you could spend time digging for things that you're interested in, but instead you get tons of stuff that you really are. And from a marketer standpoint, getting your content out in front of more people that like the type of content you're sharing. So yeah, I thought that was cool. On those two placements, that's really important to remember.
Well, the thing that the article broke down was what we can do to influence what we see.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it wasn't really a no-brainer because I look at French Bulldogs all the time. So French Bulldogs are what I see in my Explore and what I see in Reels. Cooking, stuff. I see that. So basically it says you pick your close friends and you watch their stories and their feed. You mute people you are not interested in. So if you're not interested in, just, if you don't want to unfollow them, you can mute them and it just won't show it to you. And then, it will recommend, and then they also recommend marking things as not interested. And I've never done that, but I've definitely muted people. The other thing that I want to bring up too, which was an aha moment, was the truth. I'm reading this verbatim, so we don't get it wrong. The truth is most of our followers won't see what you share because most look at less than half of their feed.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that when I was hearing everybody constantly talking about how the algorithm hates you, it's not that. One, your content might sorry to say that, but it might suck. But also two, the algorithm doesn't hate you. When Instagram is 10 years old, right? It's turning 11 this year in October. That's a long time. There are people are viewing 500 million views on stories a day. When people first started on Instagram, the average person was only following maybe a couple hundred accounts, maybe 150. Now people are averaging on following about 300 to 400 to 600 accounts. And it's just impossible to see all of these accounts all the time. You have to actively engage. Another thing too is I like to put on notifications.
Notifications.
Because then I automatically know when they post something and I can make sure that I don't miss it. So if it's somebody that I'm learning from on a regular basis and I love their content, I turn on my notifications so that for that profile, so I make sure that I cannot miss their stuff. So you kind of have to work to make the feed look like how you want it to look. But it doesn't hate you. The feed
does not. It doesn't hate you.
Yeah,
there's lots of neighborhoods, as
yes.
An Instagram expert out there says. There's lots of areas to spend time in. There's just not one. Jordan, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Well, and I would say too, for the point about muting people, I know a lot of people will mute someone they're following because maybe they don't want to offend them by unfollowing and they just feel bad because it's maybe their stepsister's business and they just have to follow. You're not doing them any favors by just muting them because Instagram looks at your engagement rate. And if you have a lot of followers, but they've all muted you so they're not engaging with you, you're better off unfollowing them. I hate to say it, it might cause one awkward dinner conversation, but you're not helping them. If anything, you're contributing to a lower engagement rate. If you are going to keep following them, engage with their content, like it, share it. Tell a friend who maybe that business is better for them, and instead of you following them, get a couple friends too. But you're not really helping them by muting them, even though it tells you to mute them. Just unfollow.
Also, too, I'm following. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Tiana, I'm seeing you. Can anyone else see Tiana? I'm just seeing the spinning circle. I see your beautiful face, but
I'm getting.
I see her.
That it's up for me today.
Well, okay. We'll see what the recording looks like. I was going to say with unfollowing, I've seen a lot of advice lately where people are talking about this engagement rate. The engagement rate is the proportion of people who are following you to the amount of signals that are happening, the likes, comments, and all those things. So in having or unfollowing people or removing people, make sure to not do that in any mass amounts at any one time, because that is a huge signal to the platform that you're doing some type of shady follow, unfollow, or spammy activity. So just the thought, when you're doing a general usage every day, if you want to craft your perfect feed and look at who's following you and get rid of bots, maybe just do a couple at a time and just act normal. Yep. And then that way you won't be flagged. So just I've seen so many videos lately where they're just get rid of all the people that are inactive. I'm please don't do that quickly because they will shut you down so fast.
Yeah, baby steps for that one.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they talk about is shadow banning. I've actually felt that shadow banning hasn't existed because I personally haven't had that happen to me. The one time that personally on my account I haven't, but on another account, they had 20,000 fake followers, and I was unfollowing. I was, looking who was fake and unfollowing or removing them. And I had removed, like you just said, too many, and they dinged us for about a week because they thought we were a bot. That's the only time I've seen it, when there's been when they think shady things are going on. And one of the things Instagram did say about a year ago is when Facebook went to people working from home, there was a huge delay in actually checking out things like, if somebody marked you as spam or somebody marked you as inappropriate. This happened to my client. It took them forever to investigate it. Like, we kept fighting it. Like, we got marked inappropriate because of a drag show photo that was not inappropriate. So somebody marked it inappropriate, or we saw our reach kind of go down. So they're saying shadow banning didn't exist. It doesn't exist, but they need to be more transparent about when you get your account suspended or you get marked as inappropriate. Like, so what are your guys' thoughts on that? I know that we've had this discussion amongst ourselves offline, but some of you have experienced this, but they're saying it's more that they need to be more transparent, and they want to be more transparent about it. So, shadow banning.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I was going to say, I know Tiana has some thoughts about this.
I was thinking too, has anyone read like the full community guidelines, like front to back? Like,
No.
So that's kind of where it turns into a slippery slope anyway, because who knows every single one of those rules, and it's of course like business, legal, jargony stuff. So I feel that's like where they can play around with this. You've read the whole thing?
I have.
You know it?
One of my clients is a sex therapist, and so we have to be very, very careful. I will say there's a lot of gray area within those terms, and you may be doing something that doesn't necessarily violate a term as it's written. For example, she has an e-course to help parents be sex positive educators to their children and teach them, early on conversations about sex and talking about the birds and the bees. We have to be so careful, because if you have even the word child and the word sex in something, even if it's not, talking about something inappropriate, Instagram might catch that. And so there's a lot that you still have to be careful with, even if you're not violating a rule strictly, because the way that things check in the background, a lot of it is automated and it's looking for triggers. And so if you accidentally set off a trigger, even if you are not doing something technically wrong, it might still catch that because it is all automated. So while some of those automations and algorithms and things are really great and can help you, there are also some hiccups to them as well. But yeah, I've read that too many times.
And then with being short-staffed and people working from home and relying on AI bots to kick people off, they're seeing the effects of that. Like, people just irritated. Like, I got my account suspended because somebody marked one thing as inappropriate that wasn't inappropriate, and it took 2 weeks, to come back online. So, yeah, shadow banning.
It's
Tiana.
They can sit there and tell me that they do not shadow ban until they're blue in the face, but I do think they shadow ban. Now, the best way to not get shadow banned is to use bots. Stop buying followers. Don't do that. Don't do that. That is like literally the best way to not get that done. But I mean, for instance, with my account, I've been locked out of my account for 2 weeks. Couldn't log in whatsoever. Had to send stuff to my account managers to post for us because I don't know why. And it was probably something, I think there are times when it's just like you really need a human being and not a bot to do something like that, right? I know that there are a lot of Black creators during BLM that got their content flagged as inappropriate when they're just trying to talk about their experience, and they would be locked out of their account, right? So it's extremely frustrating because, again, I don't think that Instagram is out to get you, but I think that the way that they do these things needs to be better. And you do need a human being. Like, it's like when you call somebody to complain about something and you just want to, or get something fixed with your TV and you just want to talk to a human and not an automated machine, right? So, I mean, we've had accounts I am a very big supporter of having a backup account, especially if you have a business. Also, too, again, just to reiterate as another warning, you do not own Instagram. You do not own Instagram. It's not going, that's why you should have your own website. This is why you should build an email list, because you don't own Instagram. If something were to happen to your account, people still need to find a way to contact you, right? So, and also too, that's another thing too. This is why I'm a big fan of batching content too, because if you're batching your content, you're saving it somewhere else. Because if you're just leaving it on your feed, it's gone. I mean, I've had a few of my network marketers that have been banned from Instagram, and they had to start a brand new account. Their account was completely black for like 3-4 months. What would you guys do if your account was gone for 3 or 4 months?
Yeah.
Cry.
Yeah, I'd cry.
So, I mean,
It happened to a client of mine.
maybe
And then they brought it all back after they did research. But yeah.
Have you guys
You know,
heard of
It's very hard to get back.
If This Then That? So just a little
Yeah.
hack I was going to say. If you ever want to back up your stuff, you can download, like you'd have to do this like a regular backup, like download your content. But you can set up an if this then that trigger. They used to call them recipes, they call them something else now. Where basically every time you post, it saves it to wherever you drive it. So like a spreadsheet or a Google, like you can send it to Google Drive. So something really cool that you can use to back up your stuff, like an extra backup. So every time it posts, it saves the image or the video and the copy to a spreadsheet in a folder. So just a little trick there, in case you're worried.
I would be so upset. And
Hold on, I'm going to go write that down. Keep talking.
I would be upset. And, you know, so, I mean, maybe shadow banning isn't the right term. Maybe it's just kind of a glitch when it comes from communication between the AI bot that they're using and an actual human being or something like that. But at the end of the day, you have accounts that somebody could just not like you and flag your stuff as inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and I will say too, in the section where they talk about how there is no shadow ban, they still do admit that they can change the reach. Whether they're going to say that they intentionally do it or not, they do explicitly say that your reach will not be the same on each post. Now, whether that's long-term or not, my husband was in a situation where he tagged too many female chefs in a paid promotion he was doing to just promote a event that female chefs were putting on. And he tagged too many in one story. And for months, his reach was, if even a half, usually a third of what it used to be. His stories, even though it's supposed to show up chronologically, as soon as he'd post a new story, he'd be at the end of his followers' chronological timeline. He had people reaching out to him every day to see if he was alive because they hadn't seen any of his posts. And then they'd go to his feed to message him and they'd realize he'd been posting every day. It took a lot of finagling and trying to reach out and then temporary breaks from posting to get that back. Now, you know, they say there are things that violate community guidelines that can cause your reach to diminish, and they're not going to call it a shadow ban. But, you know, he clearly did an activity that caused them to diminish reach. So, you know, it might not be a shadow ban per se. I think the biggest takeaway from this article is don't violate community guidelines. It's going to impact you negatively, whether it's by having your account removed, your reach diminished, you know, you not showing up as much. So biggest takeaway, just make sure you're aware, at least high level, of what those guidelines are, and you should be good to go.
So let's kind of wrap it up. One thing that I want to bring back up, unless anybody have any final, did I miss anything from the article? Jordan just did a really good, so if you guys are not following Jordan, head over. She did a great carousel post about it today. So go over there. Any final thoughts?
I got one.
Okay.
So they stated in there that in the past, or very recently in the past, for people who are sharing posts to stories, they were deprioritizing that content. But then they realized that people were sharing things, like say there was a big event, like the World Cup, and people were sharing a lot of content to stories, excitement. They realized that by deprioritizing that content, they were actually showing you less of what you wanted to see. So they're no longer deprioritizing shared content to stories, which is cool, because there are some days where we're just like, one, can't come up with our own stuff, and you can curate other people's to show, like, you know, to share your vibe. It's good clout to share other people's content, right? To share how you feel. So just good to know that that's no longer deprioritized. I thought that was cool.
I thought that was really cool too. I have a friend that has highly shareable content and has gained followers from people sharing her stuff. And though we always say it's not about followers, hers have been the right followers, because her content is, you know, around therapy and trauma. So she's, you know, definitely reaping the rewards, because she's getting the right people seeing the eyeballs. And she was kind of bummed when she was like, hey, should I be worried about this? Like, people share my stuff all the time. And when I saw that, I highlighted it and sent it to her along with the article. Like, this is not something to worry about right now. So the thing that I want to go back to is the trust your followers won't always see what you share. They're looking less than half of your feed. Most look at less than half of your feed. So one of the things I took from that one statement was that maybe the feed content shouldn't be the priority. What are your thoughts on that? Like, we'll still post in the feed, but there are people that I know that post 7 days a week, 2 times a day. Is that too much?
So I don't think that's too much, because the people who see it in the morning might not be the people who are seeing you posting in the afternoon. You don't want to start posting so much that you see yourself losing followers. But, you know, if you are posting twice a day, 7 days a week, you have time to create that content. Like, good for you, Superwoman. But if you have time to create that much relevant, engaging content, and you are seeing growth, not a decline in followers, then it's clearly working for you. One of the biggest things I take away from knowing that people are not seeing your posts is repurposing content. So for my clients, if they have a post that's 6 months old or older and it performed extremely well, we actually repurpose that and we'll repost it either still as the same feed post. Maybe we'll transform it into a reel or another form of content. But most of the people didn't see it, and all of your new followers probably didn't see it, and you know that it, you know, was impactful and influential for them. Repurpose it. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to notice. Nobody's going to call you out.
Nobody will notice.
If you gain a lot of followers from it the first time, you're going to probably gain a lot the second time too. So if anything, it just shows that, you know, you have to keep re-pushing the same thing over and over, because not everybody's going to see it. I also think it does, you know, share that you should be using other features too, like stories, to make sure people are seeing that you posted. Every time I publish a post, whether it's by talking about it, pushing it to my stories, or usually a combo of the two, I let people know there's something there, so that if they don't see it on my feed, they know. I am obsessed with guides, as you know, if you popped into our live the other week. I save things into guides so that I can tell people, hey, this is here, and they don't have to go search for it. And if they missed me talking about something the first time, they know where they can get it, or look to see if there's something on that. So make sure you're using more than just the feed, that you're using more than just reels, that you're really focusing on all of the things Instagram has to offer.
Agreed. It's like it's like, you know, how we talk omni marketing, like you have to have a holistic marketing plan. Instagram is not just the feed. You need to be doing all the things in the ecosystem of Instagram to kind of be successful. But first and foremost, you need to be reaching your ideal clients, and you need to know what they want from you. So that's what always comes back to me is, like, if somebody's like, this didn't work, well, is that what your ideal clients wanted from you? Not look at me content, but learn from me. Yes, you know exactly where I got that. Look at me, not learn from me. Katie and I have the same coach, and she said that last week, and it's like been in my mind when I see people's content. Learn from me, not look at me. Yeah, learn from me, not look at me. And I see a lot of look at me, look at me, look at me, and not a lot of learn from me, or why the value of why you would hire me. to help you with your X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So anyways. All right.
And I was gonna say, and also think about what phase in your business journey, like what are you leveraging the social platforms for? You know, if you're in a phase of growth and you're really trying to push brand awareness and get in front of as many people as possible, that article told us you want to be doing, you know, reels and, you know, using hashtags and creating content similar to the people.
Oh no,
I keep getting calls. The people that you want to get in front of. So creating content that's good for reaching new people. Whereas if maybe you're going to be launching a program, you're going to be really speaking to the people that are already following you. They're in your feed and your stories, right? That's who's going to be seeing that content. And the types of content you're going to have there is going to be different. It's not going to be this like, hey, nice to meet you. It's going to be like, we really get each other. I really get you. I can take you across that epiphany bridge or get you the solution you need. So thinking about where you are in your journey, and that'll help you focus on like your number one and number two, like neighborhood priority, right? So.
Yep.
I think what I got most of that article was honestly is just to keep serving your audience and your ideal audience. You know, I have about 1,800 followers. They're not all commenting and liking my stuff, but I do have that same group of people that are constantly listening to me, constantly engaging with me. And those are the people that I'm making my content for, because they're the ones that are going into my DMs me more about a tip or help solve a problem. And it's always the same little tribe. And I love that. I love that. So I think what you should be doing is just constantly serving your audience. And then you're going to get, because of the way that they're pushing content towards people that are similar, keep using those hashtags in that industry of people that you're supposed to be doing, people that are similar and things like that, because those people will find you if you're using all the features, because of the way Instagram is making the algorithm work for you instead of rather against you.
Man.
Yep.
Wow. So if you haven't read the article and you're watching, it's called Shedding More Light on How Instagram Works. It's on the Instagram blog. If you don't read the blog on a regular basis, it's actually something that I check when I hear rumors. It's the first place I go. Let's wrap it up. Kind of like tell us where to find you. And, you know, if you have anything special happening, Jordan, Tiana, Katie.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I'm Jordan from West Loop Soul, helping you find the soul of your brand and bring it to life through content marketing. And if you don't want to go all the way to Instagram's blog to see what we're talking about, make sure you head over to my feed. My last post is all about it. I'm breaking it down over like 9 slides. You're going to want to save it because there's a ton of content that you're going to want to come back to. So make sure to check it out.
Tiana, ITW. You can go to my agency page, Tiana Winters Media. We share lots of tips for you. And again, the DMs are always open. So I am more than happy to always answer any of your questions or concerns when it comes to Instagram.
Katie keeps getting calls. I'm Katie
Very
Malone.
popular
I'm apparently
today.
really popular right now on the phone. They're all spam calls. Awesome. Katie Malone at Hey Katie Malone everywhere. I too will be sharing a little bit more about this on my page. I actually recently polled my audience in stories and asked them kind of about their preferences. So I'll be sharing that too. Of course, like my audience is going to be different from everyone else's, but some of the results were like 90 to 10, %. So I feel like that says a lot. Anyway, always sharing Instagram tips. Go take Shannon's, or you're next to me this way, but Shannon's masterclass to learn more about Instagram. And let's see what else. I'm on Clubhouse every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Answering your social media questions. So it's the best way to get Q&A, or obviously DM me at Hey Katie Malone.
And I'm Shannon Hinderberger of Shannon Lee Strategy. I'm a digital marketing and social media coach, and I basically take business owners from chaos to calm so they can feel zen in their marketing. And we come live every other Friday. Probably won't be here in July. Just going to warn you guys because I'm going to be on vacation, climbing mountains.
Oh, cool.
And seeing all the nature that Montana and Wyoming and Idaho have us to see. So, but it's good to have you all here. We got West Coast, Midwest. It's dreary here. So hopefully it's sunny where you guys are. I'm signing off for the day. Thank you all for joining us. And if you're watching, I should have said this at the beginning, if you're watching the replay or have any questions, leave them below and we'll get them answered. And if you have topic ideas, send them our way because we like to come with the topic. So have a great day. Thank you all for joining me.
Thanks.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.